on a scorching Sunday afternoon in South Florida. Two of the NFL's most successful franchises get together. It's the Dallas Cowboys and the Miami Dolphins. Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome to the NFL on Fox. Kenny Albert along with Darryl Johnston and Tony Saragusa. The Dallas Cowboys put up Texas-sized numbers last week in their victory over the New York Giants. Close to 500 yards of offense, 45 points, Darryl. What can they do for an encore today?
Well, always a lot of speculation after week one in the NFL. And how good is this Dallas offense? Without a doubt, Tony Romo has a lot of weapons to use at his disposal. And that's going to be the biggest challenge for the Dolphins defense today. Jason Taylor has told us we can't account for all these guys. At certain times, they're going to be in one-on-one situations, and they're just going to have to step up and make a play. And defensively for Dallas, no good news on the injury front. Greg Ellis and Terrence Newman out again this week. Jay Ratliff gets his second career start at the nose tackle. And can Trent Green take advantage of this opportunity and help this new offense take some positive steps forward in their progression? And let's not forget, it's September in South Florida. It's a little bit tacky out there on the field. Hey, Tony, you got any tricks for beating the heat?
I'll tell you what, a lot of guys will worry about a lot of things, Moose, but a 97 down here heat index. One thing, whenever I came to South Florida, I was worried about was dehydrating. I didn't want any cramps. I've already seen a couple players go in. This is an IV bag. They have a pump on it. They'll put this in your arm. They'll pump it up and try to get as much fluid in as possible. The key to today's game, don't get worn down and try and stay as hydrated as you possibly can.
Thanks, Goose. Stay cool. We take you now from Tony to Tito.
I feel like $1 million. Yeah. $1,081,000.
You're watching Fox Sports, broadcasting in HD and presented by DirecTV.
Fox Sports welcomes you to the following presentation of the National Football League.
Welcome back to Miami. Cowboys and Dolphins meeting for only the fourth time in South Florida. Cowboys have won the toss. Big game last Sunday night for their tight end, Jason Witten.
And that's got to be a concern for the Miami Dolphins because Jeremiah Bell out. Travaris Tillman gets the start. We'll see if Dallas can exploit that middle of the field.
Last week against Washington, Trent Green, 12 completions to his running backs. Cowboys would like to take away his checkdowns.
And another thing they're going to do, the Cowboys play a corners over defense. That means if you have two wide receivers to one side, they will walk both corners over there. They're going to try and sneak a tight end out to the backside, get Roy Williams one-on-one, try and take advantage of his skills in space.
Miles Austin on the left, Tyson Thompson back deep for the Cowboys. As Jay Feely gets things started in Miami. Opening kickoff taken out the goal line by the Irving, Texas native Tyson Thompson. And Thompson is brought down shy of the 20-yard line by Will Allen. So Tony Romo leads the Cowboys offense out. Named the NFC Offensive Player of the Week. There is a flag on the field. Terry McCauley.
After the play, personal foul, unnecessary roughness. Kicking team, number 56. Correction. Kicking team, number 56. 15-yard penalty, first down.
That's Derek Pope, Texas native, backup linebacker for the Dolphins.
Just a bad play. I mean, you get the return team inside the 20-yard line. And there's a stat in the NFL where they have a percentage of scoring drives from certain spots on the field. The difference between inside the 20 and beyond the 30 is a big difference in percentages. So a bad play by Derek Pope to start the game.
So instead of starting at their own 18-yard line, it's 1st and 10 for the Cowboys from the 33. As Romo hands it off on first down, Julius Jones up the middle, takes it up to the 39-yard line, gain of 6.
This will be interesting to see what Dallas does because last week against the Redskins, Washington would go to 3 wide receiver set to get Keith Traylor off the field because of the passing percentages in that formation and then run the ball. They were able to take advantage of that. Now, Miami has made some corrections. Joey Porter will be in that personnel group. We'll see if they did something to keep Keith Traylor on the field in those situations.
Three wide receivers set here, Darrell, with Terrell Owens in the slot. Romo rolling right on 2nd and 4. Pass is intended for Owens, broken up. So a 3rd down and 4 coming up.
Tony Romo, good presence in the pocket. You see just a little stop right there to get away from Joey Porter. Channing Crowder coming back in good position. He gets his head turned around to pick up that ball. He might have an interception.
Just keep an eye on Jason Taylor. Earlier in the warm-ups, he had a little bit of a problem. Saw a banner hanging on down here. Went over to the banner and ripped it right off, Moose. But this guy is definitely getting ready to play today.
Three wide receivers. Cowboys have to get to the 43 for a 1st down, and they cannot as that pass deflects off the hands of Owens.
Tony talked about Jason Taylor. When you play the Miami Dolphins, you need to have a plan for him. He can take over a game. They've got Jason Witten on that side. He's going one-on-one, but guess what? There's Flozell Adams backing him up. You can't let Jason Taylor get started early in the game. You've got to account for him in passing situations.
Also, Terrell Owens did not catch a pass in the 1st half last week. They went to him twice on that opening series. Matt McBriar punting from his own 30. Ted Ginn Jr., the rookie out of Ohio State. Down the sideline, setting up good field position for the Dolphins.
A little bit of the Devin Hester effect when you take Ted Ginn Jr. that early in the draft. Obviously, you're bringing him in as a wide receiver, but his abilities as a return guy probably popped him into the top 10 of the draft.
A 22-yard return by Ginn, so Trent Green and the Dolphins start from their own 37.
Well, they could not take advantage of good field position last week against the Redskins. We'll see what they can do here on their opening drive.
Dolphins losing in overtime, 16-13. The give to Ronnie Brown, the 3rd-year back out of Auburn, and he fights his way across the 40.
Ronnie Brown may have had the light bulb go on this week. I think he's starting to realize the opportunity he has in this offense. It is an offense that I think a lot of people focus on the quarterback and the passing game. It's from Air Coryell. Norv Turner has run it. Obviously, Cam Cameron here, Mike Martz are all running variations of this system. But the one part you forget about is that running back. There have been some great running backs that have played in this system.
Cam Cameron told us our backfield is a work in progress. 2nd down and 7. The toss to Brown. And Brown is bottled up, forced back by Brady James.
Now, if you take a look at this play, you got Samson Satella, the center right here. Now, he pulls. He's got to go and get on that guy. Go ahead, roll it, guys. Here he is in the middle. As he pulls, he's got to turn up and get on that linebacker. If he gets him, they'd still be running. That's a rookie mistake. I'm going to be keeping an eye on that center there, guys.
Well, that's an area that defensive coordinator Brian Stewart felt that they could exploit, even with Jay Ratliff, only his 2nd career start. Very athletic over the center.
Satella, a rookie 2nd-round draft pick out of Hawaii. Movement prior to the snap. Free play for the Dolphins, and the catch is made for a 1st down in Cowboys territory by Derek Hagan.
Come right back, and he makes a great play when he see one of those defensive guys
Offside.
jump off sides.
Defense. Number 99. Penalties decline. 1st down.
You know, a rookie comes right back. Samson Satella, snap the ball. When those defensive guys jump off sides, snap the ball, get yourself a free play.
Good hard count by Trent Green. You can hear it on the audio. That's what got Chris Canny to move.
And a 12-yard completion from Green to Hagan, who caught 21 passes last year as a rookie out of Arizona State. 1st and 10 from the Dallas 47. Off the play fake. Green steps up. Could not find anyone downfield. Able to gain 6 yards before he was tackled by the rookie out of Purdue, Anthony Spencer.
Yeah, we've talked about the pressure. You've got to give both sides. You've got to have people on both sides. Right now, DeMarcus Ware, Anthony Spencer. They're going to go one-on-one with Anthony Spencer. Look at what they do to DeMarcus Ware. He's got to tackle out. Reagan Mawia, the fullback, is going to chip him. Very similar to what we saw with Jason Taylor. You're going to have to account for DeMarcus Ware. Anthony Spencer has to step up and start generating pressure.
Spencer starting for the injured Greg Ellis on 2nd and 5. Brown inside the 40. Cowboys, as you alluded to in the open, Darryl, missing 3 starters on defense, including Jason Ferguson, who was out for the season. Terrence Newman, Greg Ellis also out.
What Wade Phillips talked when he came to Dallas about building this defense, there were 3 key components. Getting pressure on the quarterback with your outside linebackers. Greg Ellis is out. They're down to one of their preseason starters there. Having a cornerback that they could trust. Terrence Newman's out. And then having a nose guard who could control the line of scrimmage. Jason Ferguson goes out in the opener.
3 wide receivers set. 3rd down and 2. High snap. Inside handoff. Jesse Chapman. And Chapman, who injured his knee last week, was questionable for today's game. Picks up a 1st down to the Cowboys' 28.
Nice little misdirection on the inside. You've got a fake reverse coming with Derek Hagan right there. You get everybody to look. What a great job by Trent Green, fielding that high snap and being able to get a good handoff to Jesse Chapman. Look at that. One hands, it doesn't disrupt the timing. Jesse Chapman, good job staying in there, not panicking.
And he picked up the 1st down with a gain of 11. Ronnie Brown checks back in. Here's Brown, cuts to the outside, and is able to pick up 2. Again, Brady James on the tackle for the Cowboys.
Well, Ronnie Brown, I think he learned as the OTAs and everything was progressing towards the start of training camp that he was going to need to do some work if he was going to be the guy in this offense. He came in over 250 pounds. You can't be that big in this offense. They asked the running back to do a lot of different things. He got the message. He dropped over 25 pounds. He's back down to the weight that you can be very productive in this offense as the featured back.
Off the play fake on 2nd and 8. Green underneath to Brown. And Ronnie Brown is able to pick up the 1st down and more all the way to the Cowboys' 19-yard line.
Well, Kenny, you talked about it when we started that they're going to hug up on these checkdowns to try and rattle Trent Green. He likes to get to his checkdown. I want you to follow Ronnie Brown, number 23, on the play-action fake. He's going to go in. Watch him get hugged up by Brady James. He steps up. He's right there. But guess what? It doesn't do any good if you don't make the tackle.
Brown and Chapman both caught 6 passes out of the backfield last week in Washington. The toss to Brown on 1st down. And Brown able to dive ahead for 1 before he was met by the right corner, Anthony Henry. Look at tight end Justin Peel, who scored a touchdown last week in the loss to the Redskins. Chris Chambers in motion. 2nd and 10. The end around to Chambers. Cowboys were not fooled.
Well, you showed that similar action earlier on that inside handoff to Jesse Chapman, so you knew it was coming at some point during the game, but Roy Williams does a great job of staying at home. He's not chasing anything. There's no reason to chase. You can see him. He's reading the offensive line. He sees the tackle step out. He's got a fullback coming his way, so he gets across the line of scrimmage immediately.
A loss of 4 yards on the play. Third down and 14. Dolphins have to get to the 4 for a 1st down. Green from the shotgun, has time, was under pressure, threw it away.
Kevin Burnett had an outstanding preseason, and he was a little nicked up coming into that opener last week. That's where your pressure came from, number 57, Kevin Burnett. So with him back healthy, that's a big upgrade for Dallas. That helps them out. They've got some really key injuries on that defensive side. Good to get Kevin Burnett back in the starting lineup.
So now a 36-yard field goal attempt. Jay Feely spent the last 2 years with the New York Giants. And Feely gives the Dolphins a 3-0 lead.
Today's game on Fox is sponsored by Southwest Airlines. With Southwest Airlines' convenient nonstop flights, it's like having your own company plane.
Welcome back. An early 3-0 lead for the Miami Dolphins. 12-play, 44-yard drive. Jay Feely kicks it off. Taken 4 yards deep, and Miles Austin takes a knee in the end zone. So Tony Romo and the Cowboys back on offense after these messages.
Today's game on Fox is sponsored by Budweiser Select. Exceptional taste, never filling. Step up to Select.
Darryl, a look at the reigning NFL Defensive Player of the Year.
Yeah, you know, the good thing about him, he doesn't pull any punches. You know, he knew what happened last week at Washington. He didn't try and hide anything. He said, you know what? We didn't make any plays. We took stupid penalties. We didn't do anything to win that game. He doesn't sugarcoat anything.
First and 10 for the Cowboys from their own 20 as Romo dumps it off underneath to Julius Jones. And Jones is able to pick up a first down, tiptoeing down the sidelines and finally tackled at the 44-yard line after a 24-yard gain.
Nice job by Julius Jones, making some people miss out in space. Man, that should not have been such a big play. Tony Romo is going to extend it a little bit, steps up in the pocket, finds his check down. But watch this by Julius Jones. This is all Julius after that point. 3 Dolphins with a clean bead on him. He gets by all 3 of them.
Tackling hasn't been the best on both sides of the ball for these defenses.
From the 44 on first down, it's Jones again, and this time nothing. Well, Tony alluded earlier to what took place prior to the game when Jason Taylor saw a Cowboys banner in his home stadium.
Oh, this is Jason Taylor's house. I mean, this is the Miami Dolphins house. You want to see that hanging up in your house.
Trying to talk to those people. They weren't too happy with Jason, but Jason said, listen, if we're playing in your place, I wouldn't expect anybody putting our banners up. This is my house. Set it straight.
You help put it back up, Tony?
Nah, I tried to calm him down a little bit, though.
Penalty marker as the pass was intended for Terrell Owens, and Tony Romo took a hit.
Offside defense, number 99. 5-yard penalty, second down.
He got there quick. Tony Romo, I don't know if he slipped on that throw or always got a smile on his face when he's out there, though. He's looking inside, trying to time that snap. Whatever key he had wasn't quite right, Tony.
Now, a lot of things going on down there. Jason's trying to rush the passer, keep everything inside. This guy is so hungry to make a play, I'll tell you. He goes 100 miles an hour no matter what he does, though, Moose.
One thing to look for, he told us, Jason Taylor, that Tony Romo on film looks like he gets careless with the ball at times. He said you can get fumbles from Romo. Romo into Dolphins territory, hung on to the football, and was brought down at the 49-yard line.
Well, you got a little bit of an example of that right there, what you were talking about, Kenny. When he has to pull the ball down, he doesn't do a real good job of securing it, and sometimes that ball is out loose, and I think that's one of the reasons if Jason Garrett is working with him to stay in the pocket. Watch when he decides. Look at how loose that is. I mean, just one defensive hand on that arm, that ball is going to come down on the ground. If he's going to continue to move and utilize his unique playmaking skills when a play breaks down, he's going to have to learn to secure that ball a little bit better.
Third down and 4. Cowboys have to get to the 46. Romo complete. First catch of the day for Owens, and he is brought down on the infield dirt in between first and second base at the 37-yard line of the Miami Dolphins.
I can't tell you how much I hated playing on a combination baseball football field. That is not dirt. That is like tan-colored cement.
I'll tell you what, one thing you don't want to do is dive on that stuff. You'll leave part of your skin on that surface. It's rough. There's like little stones in it, and it's tough to even get off and cut. We saw T.O. slide a little bit on that. There's not a lot of traction. Kickers have a tough time with it. Everybody has a tough time running on that midfield.
From the 37, the end around to Owens. And Owens able to gain 5, maybe 6. Brought down by Zach Thomas inside the Miami 32.
You're not going to fool Zach Thomas either. We saw a reverse earlier when you couldn't fool Roy Williams. Keep an eye on Zach Thomas right there. Look at him find his way through that. Great angles. I mean, he doesn't get caught up in the wash. That was a lot of bodies to get through. And just knowing your pursuit angles to enable you to make a play on the outside.
On 2nd and 5, this is Jones. And Julius Jones has a Cowboys first down.
You know, the thing that I like most about Dallas last week against the Giants is when they gave away that big lead and it got to 38-35 late in the game, they responded very well. And they're doing the same thing here on their second opportunity this afternoon. They give Miami decent field position to start. They take the ball down, get a field goal. They did not have a very impressive opening series, but they come right back and they answer that call.
Series started with the 24-yard run by Jones. From the Dolphins 25, Romo's pass is broken up and then nearly intercepted. Joey Porter got a piece of it.
There's some very unique athletes on the field today. Jason Witten, one of your more athletic tight ends in the NFL. Joey Porter, you think you'd be able to get by him in a one-on-one situation with a pass. But I think you think of Joey Porter as a pass rush guy, but boy, he showed some good skills right there to be able to pivot back in on that move by Jason Witten and get a deflection.
And then it was nearly intercepted by Keith Traylor. Marion Barber in the backfield. 2nd and 10, first carry today for Barber. And Barber found a hole, able to take it down to the 20. His helmet goes flying. And there's a penalty flag as well.
Personal foul, unnecessary roughness. Defense, number 55, resting the helmet opening. After the goal, automatic first down.
You can be physical and you can be emotional, but you got to be smart. Joey Porter, I mean, this is the second one. We had Derek Pope on the opening kickoff. Now we've got Joey Porter losing his cool a little bit out there. Plays over, stop, forward progress is gone. There's no need to rip the helmet off.
You got to give a little shout out to Traylor, too. He did a nice job of whamming the whammer. Did a nice job of recognizing that little shuffle in the backfield. Boy, he came through and knocked that tight end loose.
You're right, Darryl. No reason for Joey Porter to do what he did. Barber. 4 yards down to the 6.
Nice job with Zach Thomas coming and filling that hole. I mean, Barber goes, keeps his feet moving and runs him over, but there was a beautiful hole right there. I mean, he plugged that thing like a pro. Nice job, Zach.
Marion Barber is a physical running back. He's not going to try and put a move on you. Zach Thomas has to know that on film. When he steps into that hole, he's not going to get a little wiggle. He's going to get a low shoulder.
Barber, a touchdown machine, 17 in his last 16 games. There's Owens, split to the left. 2nd and goal from the 6. The handoff to Barber. Gained a yard and then was forced back. Joey Porter in on the tackle once again.
No push, Tony. Nowhere for Marion Barber to go.
No, they did a nice job up front there. I mean, when you see them backs come and hit the line of scrimmage and they're shuffling their feet and they're not hitting it on the run, especially down here when you have 5 linemen right on the line of scrimmage, that's when you know it's going to be either a tackle for a loss or no gain at all. Exactly what we saw.
Third and goal for the Cowboys. Julius Jones has joined Marion Barber in the backfield. Split backs. Romo out of the shotgun. Romo on third and goal. Short pass caught by Barber, but right there to wrap him up, the quarterback, Will Allen, for a loss of 2 yards on the play.
It's going to be tough for Jason Garrett to kind of balance that playmaking ability that Tony Romo has, but also when it's time to just pull the ball down and make a play. Watch this. He's going to get kind of locked in to where he wants to go with this. But out this way, out to the other side, he had nobody there. And we saw him take one in last week against the Giants for a touchdown. I think he missed an opportunity to get another one right there.
Today's game on Fox is sponsored by State Farm. Great service, great rates. Nobody takes care of you like State Farm. By the Ford F-150, built Ford tough. And by Verizon Wireless.
Back in Miami following the tackle on third and goal. The Dolphins called timeout with 7 seconds remaining in the first quarter to make the rookie Nick Folk attempt his field goal from the infield dirt.
Not a consistent surface. Hard to get your plant down.
Folk knocks it through. So the Cowboys have tied the game at 3 late in the first quarter. Cowboys have tied the game, a 12-play, 72-yard drive, culminating with the Nick Folk 26-yard field goal. And now Folk will kick off. Ted Ginn Jr. back deep for the Dolphins. Short kick. And it's taken at the 20-yard line.
He fair caught it.
A fair catch.
Come on. Have a little confidence.
That's Rob Ninkovich, backup defensive lineman out of Purdue. For the latest NFL scores, stats, news, and fantasy football information, log on to foxsports.com and NFL.com.
Try and keep pace with that Cincinnati-Cleveland game.
Wow. At last check, 51-45. Browns over the Bengals. 3-3 here in Miami. Final play of the first quarter as Trent Green hands off to Ronnie Brown, who was hit behind the line of scrimmage. And that will do it for the first quarter in South Florida. Feely and Folk exchange field goals. Fox NFL Sunday continues after these messages and a word from your local Fox station. 91-degree afternoon in South Florida. County Albert with Darryl Johnston. 3-3 to score. Your thoughts on the first quarter?
Kind of what we expected. It was hard to figure this game out, but Jason Taylor told us, he said, listen, he goes, a lot of the things we did wrong against Washington are correctable. They were just technique errors. So kind of seeing that he was exactly right.
Green going deep, and it is picked off. Anthony Henry comes up with the interception for the Cowboys. Pass was intended for Marty Booker.
Don't like the choice by Trent Green right there. He didn't have that. He didn't have one-on-one coverage on the outside. You've got safety help coming in late. Anthony Henry's in great position. Look at him get the head back. Now Marty Booker's got to become the defender, but Anthony Henry had such good position. There was nothing he could do to get inside to make a play on the ball. Saw Ken Hamlin coming in late, so I don't like that decision by Trent Green.
23rd career interception for Henry. And it gives the Cowboys a 1st and 10 from their own 37-yard line. Romo on first down. Hits Marion Barber out of the backfield. Barber gains 8 as we check in with Kurt Menefee in Los Angeles.
Well, Kenny, Darryl Johnston was asking about that Browns-Bengals game. How's this? Derek Anderson. Braylon Edwards laying out for his second touchdown. Browns win it 51-45, 8th most combined points in NFL history in a game. Back to Darryl and Kenny.
Thanks, Kurt. Let's see. Charlie Fry started for the Browns last week. Do you think Anderson gets the start next week?
I think he's there. I think Brady Quinn's still on the sideline this week.
Barber, first down and more to the Dolphins 45.
More missed tackles, Tony. Down inside.
Yeah, they're not consistent at all. They got to wrap it up. These are the basics, Moose. You know, you come to camp, the first thing you learn is to go and wrap it up. From when you're in Pee Wee to you're in the pros. Go back to basics, wrap it up. There's a lot of hidden yardage out here today for both teams.
I tell you, the one thing you'll see when you watch film on Dallas is how physical Marion Barber runs, too. So I don't know what they're thinking, trying to just put a hit on him.
Barber remains in the game. First and 10 from the Dolphins 45.
First, charge timeout. Dallas, timeout.
Today's game on Fox is sponsored by Visa. Go on, live life, and remember that no matter what it takes, life takes Visa. By Monster.com. Find the job that works for you at Monster.com. By Nissan, who invites you to shift the way you move through the world. And by Burger King, who reminds you to have it your way.
The last time out called by the Cowboys sideline with the play clock winding down.
Tony Romo trying to call an audible with about just a little with the 4 seconds, I think Tony said he saw on the clock. So he's trying to figure out where the timeout came from.
Romo with more time now. First and 10 from the Dolphins 45. Marion Barber spins away from Jason Taylor and gains 4 down to the 41.
He gains 4, but should have lost 1. So there's some more of that hidden yardage that Tony's talking about. 5 yards. Instead of 2nd and 11, it's 2nd and 6.
That's unusual for Jason Taylor not to go and have somebody wrapped up. I know Marion's running hard, but you got to stay up on your feet. You got to wrap him up, man. You can't let him go and get them hidden yardage.
Romo from the shotgun, 2nd and 6. Has time. He fires downfield. And it was bobbled, and then Witten unable to hang on.
I think everybody thinks about Zach Thomas as a run plugger in the middle of that defense filling the holes. You heard Tony talk about him when Dallas was in the red zone stuffing a run. But you know what? He's pretty good in coverage, too. He's going up against one of the more athletic tight ends in the NFL, and Jason Witten. Look at the way he plays that. Keeps himself in great position, but Jason Witten almost makes a circus catch inside the 5.
Witten 6 receptions against the Giants last Sunday without a catch so far today. 3rd down and 6. Romo does a 360. Can't find anyone downfield. And now he takes off. He has a first down. Tony Romo takes it all the way down to the Miami 32.
Boy, he's shifty. I mean, he's got great feel in the pocket to know when it's breaking down, but he's got great vision when he gets out. I mean, just little subtle moves as he breaks out and tries to move. He stops, sets up again, feels pressure, spins out. Watch this one right here, though. Boy, did he make Ronaldo Hill look silly on that one, out in space.
Jason Taylor on the Dolphins sidelines, 1st and 10 from the Miami 32. Off the play fake to Barber. Romo looking for Patrick Creighton, and it is nearly intercepted, broken up by Will Allen.
Nice play by Patrick Creighton, though, because that ball was underthrown. He came back and made a play on it. He had him beat over the top. I think Patrick Creighton might have broke a finger on that when he was coming back to make a play. Tony, I think he's going to have one of those boutonniere pinkies to take with him after his career's over.
And a lot of them. There's one up in the booth right now in your hand, isn't there?
You got a nice one inside that glove. That's one of those ones where you go, don't take the glove off. Just kind of tape it up right now. I don't really need to see anything. You can take me in, we can take an x-ray of it, but I don't want to see it. Just keep the glove on and do what you got to do.
Miles Austin has replaced Creighton. Romo faked the toss. Pass is deflected and then nearly intercepted.
Ronaldo Hill makes a spectacular play to prevent an interception. But who is he getting up there? Oh, is that Matt Roth missed another one?
We talked about Zach Thomas. I mean, unbelievable play by Zach Thomas on Jason Witten.
He feels
right
it,
here.
Gets a great break.
Oh, puts the helmet right on the ball. That makes the ball come out. I mean, so you can say what you want about Zach. He's small, but he is like a pit bull, man. He will bite you when you least expect it. That's a football player.
We've seen him all over the field in this first half. Third down and 10. Inside handoff, Julius Jones. Penalty marker. As the Dolphins have trouble bringing down Jones. He's close to the yellow line.
Holding offense, number 70. 10-yard penalty, third down.
Well, it's coming back. That's the right guard, the former Arizona Cardinal, Leonard Davis.
Well, Jason Taylor got away with one right there because he should have had Julius Jones down short. He allowed him to get the yards for a first down. Leonard Davis there on the hole, taking him to the ground. Right, you see Jason Taylor trying to strip the ball out. You got to have the runner wrapped up, and the second guy comes in and tries to strip the ball. Jason tried to do it all himself. Julius Jones is able to spin off and get the yards for a first down. Lucky to have that holding call on Leonard Davis.
First Cowboys penalty of the game. Dolphins committed two big ones early. Third down and 18. Cowboys have to get to the 22 for a first. And they keep it on the ground with Jones, who slipped back at the 41-yard line.
You get into third and 18 situation, you're just trying to get some positive yards to give your field goal kicker a more makeable field goal. Trying to make something happen. Julius Jones slips, doesn't get any yardage right there, so Jason Garrett trying to get him in to get a shot at 3 points.
Instead, Matt McBriar will punt it away to Ted Ginn Jr., waiting back at the 10.
Dolphins aren't taking any chances. Got their defense on the field.
Good hang time. And a fair catch called for by Ginn back at the 9-yard line. Tied at 3 in Miami. Early second quarter here in Miami. Cowboys and Dolphins are tied at 3. What do you think's going on, Darryl, in this conversation?
Well, obviously, you know, he's probably lobbying to try and get that ball, but, you know, Tony Romo's defense, you know, I'm getting it to you. I'm just not getting it done. And he showed a lot of patience last week against the Giants. And that's the great thing about this offense. They've got so many weapons that, you know, if Terrell can continue to be patient, they'll get back to him eventually.
First catch of the game by Chris Chambers as the Dolphins start from their own 9-yard line. And Chambers takes it out to the 13, a gain of 4.
You know, I guess it's kind of not surprising that we're in a low-scoring game right now because of the familiarity of the two head coaches here both being out in San Diego. And, you know, it's been interesting. There's more than just Wade Phillips and Cam Cameron that have relationships. It was interesting during the course of our weekend to hear how many ties in other areas there are into this game and how well each opponent knows the other.
On 2nd and 6, Green taken down inside the 2-yard line on the blitz from Brady James.
Came free. I mean, he just got completely turned loose. Nobody there to pick up Brady James at all. Here he's coming.
Samson Stadella, he's got to recognize first threat. I mean, nice job coming up there on the line of scrimmage, but those offensive linemen have to stay on the same page. They can't go and leave a gap like that. Slide away from the center. You all got to slide in the same direction.
That was Ronnie Brown's assignment, but he timed it so well he couldn't get there. Samson Satella's got to come off and pick up Brady James. He's your primary threat, and then let Ronnie Brown adjust to where he was supposed to go.
Third down and 15. as the Dolphins keep it on the ground. Chapman, and we send it to Los Angeles for a game break. Here's Kurt Menefee. Kurt.
Well, with that heat you're in Miami, we thought you'd like to enjoy the cool comfort of Ford Field. Detroit's Roy Williams with a touchdown, and the Lions are on the board first against the Vikings. It's 7-0. Back to hot, muggy Miami.
All right, thank you very much, Kurt.
It's easy to say when you're in L.A. in air conditioning, Kurt. It's nice. Sweating here.
Now the Cowboys without their top two punt returners. Terrence Newman is out. Patrick Creighton went in for x-rays, so Dallas sending Marion Barber back deep, but it doesn't matter as the punt by Brandon Fields lands out of bounds.
Yeah, and what a role that played in our game last week with Green Bay and Philadelphia. The inability to field a punt cost Philadelphia the game.
Big Tony's hot?
Oh, yeah.
Cowboys defensive players trying to keep cool.
Oh, Tony, I wish we had that thing when we were playing. They hook that up to your shoulder pads. They can pump cool air in when it's hot or warm air in when it's cold.
Julius Jones in the backfield. 1st and 10 for the Cowboys from their own 40-yard line. This is Jones. And he was hit initially in the backfield by Vonnie Holliday. No gain on the play. Darrell, you talked about the connection between the two head coaches, Cam Cameron and Wade Phillips. They spent the last 3 years together as the coordinators under Marty Schottenheimer with the San Diego Chargers.
But yet we've got two teams that know each other very well. They're running the same offenses. They're running similar defenses. Dallas a straight 3-4. Miami a hybrid 4-3-3-4 defense. So a lot of things going on between these coaches and knowing each other, and that's probably why we're sitting here at 3-3 right now.
Romo on 2nd and 10. And the pass incomplete, intended for Julius Jones. So a 3rd and 10 coming up. Now the last time an offensive coordinator and a defensive coordinator each got head coaching jobs with different teams the next season and faced each other that year as head coaches, Mike Shanahan and Ray Rhodes. They worked under George Seifert with the 49ers in '94 and then faced each other as head coaches the next season in '95 with Denver and Philadelphia.
And let's not forget that Marty Schottenheimer also gone from that San Diego team. They lost the 3 big cheeses.
Romo directing traffic on 3rd and 10, looking for Owens, who makes the catch for a 1st down in Dolphins territory.
This guy can make some throws. He's coming back. I mean, he's just in the pocket, kind of directing traffic a little bit, but the throw, I mean, Terrell Owens is covered pretty well. But watch this. Watch him just drop this one in. Terrell Owens coming all the way across formation. Ronaldo Hill does a good job. He's in good position, and he just dumps it right over the top. Again, not being able to get your head turned around and pick up that ball.
So instead of a 1st down in Dolphins territory, it's a 3rd and 15. Cowboys have to get to midfield for a 1st down. Romo fires. Owens hangs on. A 1st down at the Miami 37 and a late flag.
Well, he threw the ball, so he's going to lose. He's going to get 5 back.
He spun the ball.
After the play, delay of game, offense number 81, throwing the ball away, 5-yard penalty, 1st down.
So a gain of 28, and then they lose 5 on the penalty.
You know, we've seen some silly things all day. We're seeing some missed tackles. We're seeing some guys lose their temper. I mean, this was a new rule this year, a huge point of emphasis. I mean, everybody knows that, yeah, I mean, you're happy. You made a great catch. You took a big hit. But, you know, you can't do that.
From the Dolphins 42, Julius Jones. Jones gaining 2. Brought down by Zach Thomas, so a 2nd and 8 coming up. A look at the defensive signals being sent in from the Dolphins sideline.
I'm not going there.
Second down and 8. Romo over the middle. And the catch is made by the backup tight end, second-year man out of Notre Dame, Anthony Fasano. A gain of 12 as the Cowboys move the chains.
We've seen a couple examples on this drive of Tony Romo staying in the pocket. You can tell that he's feeling a little bit of pressure as he's moving his feet, but he's not giving up on the play. He's trusting the protection in front of him. You know, last year at times he'd feel that pressure and he'd all of a sudden try and escape and break contain. Sometimes he'd create some things, sometimes he'd put the ball on the ground or make a bad throw and have it intercepted.
Julius Jones wrapped up by Channing Crowder after a short gain. And you know, sometimes we forget Tony Romo today is making only his 12th NFL start.
He's the anti-Rex Grossman. You know, usually that was Chicago's old excuse. Well, no, let's not forget now, Rex has been in the league for a while, but he hasn't really played an entire season yet. So Tony Romo, kind of the anti-Grossman in the league. Yeah, he hasn't started a full season yet, but he's playing very well.
Cowboys with the edge in time of possession. 2nd and 10 from the Dolphins 28. Play action. Romo throws and it's caught at the 15-yard line by Jason Witten for a gain of 13. Another Dallas first down.
And the Miami Dolphins defensive line is really not doing a good job. Watch the 4 down guys. They need to go and stay on the pass rush. Tony Romo is just sitting back there. They got to convert and keep the pass rush coming. You can't let him sit back there and feel comfortable in the pocket.
We talked about the weapons they have on the Cowboy offense, and it's not just dumping the ball off, too. I mean, they're able to get chunks of yards with a number of guys. And what were they sitting back at a 3rd and 16 just a few plays ago?
Romo complete. Sam Hurd, who scored a touchdown in the game against the Giants last Sunday. Patrick Creighton has not yet returned, so Hurd able to make the catch down at the Miami 7.
Makes a big play to seal the game last Sunday night. Your Terry Glenn has had knee surgery, so Patrick Creighton goes from 3 to 2. Now he breaks a finger. He's out of the lineup. Sam Hurd steps in to assume that role. They're just rolling guys in and out, especially at the wide receiver position in this offense.
Miles Austin in at wide receiver, replacing Terrell Owens. Austin split to the left, Hurd to the right.
Well, you saw the big guys coming off the field on that situation. I wouldn't be surprised if that's a little bit of a plan by Jason Garrett. You get down inside the red zone, longer distance for those defensive linemen to run.
It is hot, it is humid here in Miami, and the Dolphins defense has been on the field for much of this second quarter.
Yeah, and that's completely different. People will say, well, why aren't the offense tired then? You know, they're out there the same amount of time. Offensively, you know, the play goes the other way. You don't have to chase, but as a defensive player, you have to get to the ball every snap. You're working against somebody pushing back on you, so when you're rushing the passer, it exerts a tremendous amount of injury. So defensive players get stuck on the field much more difficult.
On 2nd and 2, the pass is short, intended for Marion Barber.
I don't know. They called that an incomplete pass. I thought it was a heads-up play by Marion Barber. I thought that throw was backwards.
Terrell Owens back in the game.
Yeah, you know, that looked like a backwards pass to me, but they'll get it. I don't know. When we got 3rd and 2 right now, that'll probably make it about 3rd and 5. So Cam Cameron thinking it's good enough to take the risk. It sure looked like it was going backwards to me.
There's no challenge on the play. Forward backward pass is not reviewable in this situation.
Well, I wish I had an answer for you folks on that one, because definitely, as you saw the highlight, that was a backward pass. And the difference between 3rd and 2 and 3rd and 5, Tony, you got a little bit more open playbook with 3rd and 2.
I'll tell you, man, it helps you out a lot as defensive lineman. Now you don't have to really go too low and worry about that short yardage. Stay up. Seen a lot of missed tackles. Oh, that could be the difference between a first down and holding them.
Well, we're still talking about it on the field.
Now we have the list of reviewable plays up here in the booth, and a forward or backward pass thrown from behind the line of scrimmage is reviewable.
I don't know why they said it was non-reviewable. In that situation, I don't know what the situation was. Going to be on top of it, Kenny.
Well, Cameron tried to challenge, but was told he could not. So it's a 3rd down and 2 from the Dolphins.
There you go. Flozell will make it happen for you. Flozell will make it 3rd and 7.
False start. Offense, number 76. 5-yard penalty. 3rd down.
It wasn't like it was real loud down here on the field, so that was definitely just something that Flozell saw. It had nothing to do with the crowd noise.
He struggled with that throughout his career. He'll get a bunch of them called on him during the course of the season.
The worst thing, Moose, must be when you got to go back to the huddle and look at everybody. You know, sitting in that huddle, having to see you after somebody goes offside, just be like,
what's that supposed to mean? What do you mean, see me?
Well, you know, it ain't happened if you were there, too.
Never happened to you, Tony?
Never. As far as you know.
3rd down and 7. Romo to Owens. And T.O. picks up the first down. He was lunging towards the goal line, but does pick up the first, so the Cowboys will have a 1st and goal.
I think that Terrell's very excited about his role in the offense this year, because as they move him throughout the formation, it's a very user-friendly system. So you can take advantage of that and allow him to be in a lot of different spots on the field. And you can start to script plays. You saw that one come right over the top of the quarterback in the center of the field and pivot out. When they've got him on the move and they're doing things, they're trying to get him the ball.
Owens split to the left. 11th play of the drive for the Cowboys. Marion Barber takes it down to the 1.
You know, when you come out on the line of scrimmage as a defensive lineman and you see them splits really tight, you know that it's going to be a run. Everybody on their toes coming off. You got to stay low. The Dolphins did do that. That's why they didn't get in.
Hey, Tony, how about what Jason Taylor said? Because Dallas's offensive linemen are so big, they can't hide the run pass. You can get some good keys on them because it's too hard for those guys because of their size.
Yeah, it is. When they're big and nice and tall and got that lumber there, it's easy to pick off on or pass.
We have hit the 2-minute warning here in Miami. 2nd and goal from the 1 when we return.
Today's game on Fox is sponsored by the new AT&T. Your world delivered.
Coming up, the Visa Halftime Report with Kurt, Terry, Howie, and Jimmy. We'll get you all caught up on scores and highlights from around the league. And the Fox Sports Ticker will have up to the second stats. It's all next on the Visa Halftime Report.
Cam Cameron still wanting clarification on why that play was not reviewable. And we don't have any new information for you on why it was not reviewable.
Got light stances.
2nd and goal, Barber. No signal yet. Touchdown, Cowboys.
I tell you what, the Miami Dolphin offense, they better get it together in the second half, or this group is just going to melt. They have left them on the field entirely too long here in the first half. And the way they're playing, you couldn't even get a jump start right now by getting a few of them into the locker room to try and get some IVs that Tony talked about before the game.
Only LaDainian Tomlinson and Larry Johnson scored more touchdowns in the entire league than Marion Barber last season. Folk adds the extra point, and Barber has his second touchdown of 2007.
I mean, these guys are beaten down coming off the field, that Dolphin defense. I mean, Zach Thomas, Jason Taylor, I mean, they've been out there this whole first half.
We talked about the IVs in the open. This has got perfect timing for that defense to get in there and get their fluids back. I'll tell you what, your energy drops very, very fast in weather like this. It's still 90s on the field here. You can't let it go and slide out, so you come back in the fourth quarter and you're dragging.
Yeah, but Tony, you can't trust them. I mean, you can't trust your offense right now to go in at halftime. There's 1:54 left.
And the tough thing is they don't have many guys for a rotation on the defensive line. You know, not running blitzes and just pass rushing with 4 guys. You get wore out, Moose.
The only thing that gives them a shot is Dallas has only got 1 timeout. So if they come out and look like they're going to try and just kill the clock, Dallas could burn it. But, I mean, you can't take the chance to send in a Jason Taylor or a Zach Thomas, you know, a guy that you're going to have in the second half and let him get a head start on his recovery. He may have to go back out on the field before this half's over.
Yeah, you're right.
Tony, you've been down on the field all day. Will you be going in for an IV at halftime?
You know I will, Kenny.
Oh, my goodness.
Kickoff bounces away from Ted Ginn Jr.
Man.
into the end zone. So the Dolphins will start on their own 20-yard line. Well, it's the most spectacular night on television. The 59th Primetime Emmy Awards and pre-show live tonight at 7, 6 Central only on Fox. See all of your favorite stars experience the glamour of this extraordinary evening. The 59th Primetime Emmy Awards and pre-show live tonight on Fox.
Fox got everything this year, huh? Daytona 500, Super Bowl, Pro Bowl, Emmys.
A number of Fox primetime shows up for Emmys. The football version of the Emmys, the Pro Bowl, and Tony Romo went following the 06 season. Saw his numbers here today as Green's pass intended for Hagan, but he was out of bounds.
Couldn't get that second foot down. This is a very specific timing-based offense. I mean, it's very precise on what you're doing. You see right there, goes the second foot, can't get that second foot down, got himself too close to the sideline. It's all about alignments and landmarks and depth of routes.
Only 3 completions for Trent Green, but Dolphins have not run very many plays. Cowboys have run twice as many plays as the Dolphins so far today. Nice cut by Chapman, who takes it out to the 29, a yard shy of the marker.
Now, that was a really nice run. I mean, he had great vision inside the running lane.
Green on the quarterback sneak on 3rd and 1. And he looks to have the first.
We'll see if they can get any momentum off that initial first down in this 2-minute situation.
Marion Barber scored the Cowboys touchdown moments ago. The key play during that drive, the 28-yard pass from Romo to on 3rd and long.
Yeah, and had him in a 3rd and long situation, let him convert. Then they got 2 more big chunks of yards in the passing game.
Owens with 3 catches, 51 yards. Dolphins have used their second timeout. So the final in Cleveland, 51-45 Indians. And the baseball postseason is coming up on Fox this October. The coverage of the postseason begins October 12th with the American League Championship Series, followed by the World Series only on Fox. Green on first down, firing. Marty Booker was open, but the pass a bit high. And Booker unable to come down with it.
We talked about the precision for the receivers on the outside, but also the quarterback. You know, Marty Booker's trying to come in inside on an inside square in and get into that little hole, and Trent's got that on his back shoulder and high, so he was a little bit off on that throw. Marty Booker paid the price for it.
Green 3 of 7, 28 yards. 2nd and 10. Green to the outside. Another high throw. This one intended for Ted Ginn Jr.
We've had 2 passes on the outside. I played in this offense in Dallas with Norv Turner, and there are certain things on alignment. All right, Ted Ginn Jr. is at the top. I don't understand. He's got to be. I don't get it. I mean, it's out of sync. That ball should be caught, stepped out of bounds. I mean, you've seen it a ton of times in the NFL with the teams that are running it.
Now 3rd and 10. Dolphins have to get to the 41. Green over the middle. This time it is caught by Booker, and he takes it down to the Cowboys. 42.
There had to be a miscommunication there because the middle of the field was wide open for Marty Booker.
26-yard pass play, and now Green stops the clock.
I mean, they're working the outsides the whole time. They come back and take a look at the middle of the field. Patrick Watkins 25, Ken Hamlin 26. There goes Ken Hamlin backing out of it. Look at that void. I mean, that's a huge void in the middle of the field.
First catch of the game for Booker. 55 seconds remaining. First half. 10-3 Cowboys. Green pump fakes, escapes. Able to get rid of it to Chapman. But he was wrapped up immediately by Roy Williams after a gain of 1, and then Green signals for the Dolphins' final timeout.
Charge timeout in Miami. 30-second timeout.
Well, they got some pressure right up into Trent Green to make him uncomfortable, but he did a good job handling of it. Spins out. And when he gets to the outside, a good job of keeping his eyes down the field. Sees Jesse Chapman right there, but there's Roy Williams right on top of him. They're going to hug these checkdowns. They feel that if they can get the pressure on Trent, make him uncomfortable back there, he'll start to look for those checkdown receivers a lot more.
You saw Trent Green chatting with head coach Cam Cameron. They first worked together a decade ago in Washington when Cameron was the Redskins quarterbacks coach under Norv Turner.
And Wade Phillip knows him very well from their time out playing against Kansas City in the AFC West. Just another one of those connections.
3rd down and 9. Dolphins have to get to the 33. Green fires complete. First down. Clock continues to run as the pass was caught by Chambers.
Plenty of time. Plenty of time.
Now Green will stop the clock. Actually deflected off.
He didn't throw that down. He fumbled that.
So the clock still will run. And now he stops the clock.
Wow.
Lost a couple of downs.
That first one, he may have intended to spike it, but it's a fumble. You see right there, it comes out of his hands. Here comes Roy Williams. He knows L.J. Shelton did a good job of getting in front of him.
And you saw the referee McCauley continue to wind the clock. So it's now 3rd down and 11. 16 seconds remaining in the half. So now the Dolphins will send in the field goal unit.
Well, sloppy at the beginning of that drive, sloppy at the end. Tightened it up a little bit in the middle to even get them a chance to kick this field goal here at the end of the half. But just very inconsistent with their offense first half.
So now the holder, Brandon Field, setting up on the infield dirt. It'll be a 44-yard attempt for Jay Feely, hit from 36 earlier. Feely's kick is straight through, his 2nd field goal of the game, pulling the Dolphins to within 4. Still 5 seconds remaining in the first half. The Visa halftime report is coming up with Kurt, Terry, Howie, and Jimmy. They'll bring you all of the scores and highlights, plus the Fox Sports ticker. That's all coming up on the Visa halftime report. We alluded to the wild one involving the Browns and the Bengals, the 51-45 Cleveland victory. It's the first NFL game, Darryl, to end with that 51-45 score since a memorable game in 1986 between the Dolphins and the New York Jets. It went to overtime, and the Jets won that game 51-45. And now 21 years later, another 51-45 final in the NFL.
How do you come up with these things? How do you do that?
Where do you find this stuff, Kenny?
I was actually at the game, but we have assistants.
Unbelievable.
Brett Favre, 3 touchdown passes in the win over the Giants. He is now 3 shy of tying Dan Marino's all-time record, and a combined 11 touchdown throws in that Bengals-Browns game. Carson Palmer with 6 in a losing cause, and Derek Anderson with 5.
How'd you like to throw 6 touchdown passes and lose the game?
Kickoff is scooped up, and the first half will come to an end. Tony Curtis, backup tight end, on the return for the Cowboys, who lead the Dolphins at the half by the score of 10-6 in Miami. Marion Barber with the game's only touchdown. Jay Feely with a couple of field goals for the Dolphins. Stay tuned for the Visa halftime report with Kurt, Terry, Howie, and Jimmy after these messages and a word from your local Fox station.
Halftime report is sponsored by Visa, proud sponsor of the NFL. Life takes Visa.
I want to welcome you to the Visa halftime report. Kurt, Terry, Howie, and Jimmy, and in the game you're watching right now, Dallas with a 10-6 lead over the Dolphins. Elsewhere, late this Sunday, Minnesota, Detroit.
You bet. Good ball game here. Back goes Kidna. Roy Williams. There's your quick post, Howie. 9-yarder, 7-0 Lions over the visiting Minnesota Vikings. And then Tavares Jackson looking right now, looking left, drops it off. This one to Adrian Peterson. Breaks 1, 2, 3, down 4, 5, down to the 1-yard line. And then Jackson would run it in. Kidna had him lead this football game with a concussion. 10-7 though. Lions over the Vikings. That now with 19 seconds remaining in the first half.
Seattle at Arizona.
Sean Alexander, soft cast on that left wrist. Matt Leinart coming back strong after barely 100 yards against the 49ers. This 30-yard strike to Leonard Pope makes it Arizona 10-0. It's all there. Well, it's a pretty good game now. Cardinals 17 and the Seahawks now at 7 at the half. Kansas City and Chicago. Devin Hester, 6 returns last year for a touchdown NFL record. He was a rookie out of the U. Takes this one. How long? How far, Jimmy?
Long way.
A long way. 70, that your ruling?
That's my
All
ruling.
right, a long way. 73-yard return. Punt return for a touchdown, 17-7 with a minute remaining in the first half. Bears over the Chiefs.
In Baltimore, Kellen Clemens started in place of the injured Chad Pennington. Kyle Bowler started for the injured Steve McNair.
All right, Jay Cutler out of Vanderbilt. Brandon Stokely, 1-yard strike. Denver up 7-0. Lightning storm delayed this football game, and there's your score. Still early in, halfway through the second quarter, 14-3. It is Denver over Oakland. Green Bay at New York. Eli Manning starting. Brett Favre trying to pass John Elway for the most wins at quarterback. Favre to Donnelly in the corner. A 3-yard strike. 21-13 Packers over the New York Giants. And then Favre to Donald Driver, 10-yard strike. 28-13 Favre. 3 touchdown passes on the day. Pack undefeated 2-0, 35-13 over the New York Giants. San Francisco at St. Louis. 4th and 1. Did they stop Frank Gore? You watch it, you see it, believe it. This one's for his mother, who passed away on Wednesday. Gore takes this one 43 yards, 14-13. Then in the fourth quarter, 49ers leading by a point. Jeff Wilkins with a 56-yarder to win it for the Rams. No good. 17-16, 49ers win. 49ers now 2-0 on the year.
How about New Orleans and Tampa Bay?
How about New Orleans and Tampa Bay? How about a Joey Galloway? Is that not a great football name? Joey Galloway. Jeff Garcia hits Galloway. Quick slant turns into a crossing route when it's on the other side of the field. That's what this is. 69-yard reception, touchdown, 2 on the day for Galloway. All Tampa Bay, 31-14 over the New Orleans Saints, who have yet to win a football game.
The Jaguar defense with 7 sacks against Joey Harrington as they knock off the Falcons. Indianapolis has to hold on, but hold on they do to beat Tennessee. Pittsburgh gets over 100 yards from Willie Parker in a 26-3 victory over the Buffalo Bills. Cleveland and Cincinnati combined for 96 total points. The Browns get the win 51-45. And Houston knocks off Carolina 34-21 the final in that game. All right, Dallas, Miami, who'll be qualified to talk about both organizations here?
Tony Romo, very efficient in this ball game, led the league in passer rating the first week. The two running backs, last couple of years, Marion Barber, 20 touchdowns, nearly 5 yards a carry. Julius Jones, 4 yards a carry, only 4 touchdowns. But they need both of them.
Over 19 minutes time of possession for Dallas.
He didn't say me, though.
Say that word again.
Organization. I've been sitting beside Terry too long. Hey, the second half coming up next.
In Miami, it's the Cowboys 10, the Dolphins 6 at halftime. A reminder for the latest NFL scores, stats, news, and fantasy football information. Log on to foxsports.com and NFL.com. Fox NFL Sunday continues after these messages and a word from your local Fox station. The field for over 19 minutes.
They've got to get some first downs offensively. You can see that one was 13-7. So Miami, a nice drive at the end of the first half to get some points. A little bit out of sync at times. I know the guys are young. It's a new system. They're finding their way through. But on a day like today, you've got to string some positive plays together and give that defense a rest. They can't be on the field the way they were in the first half. They're not going to make it through this game.
The good news for the Dolphins, they trail by only 4. Tony, are you going to make it through the afternoon?
Yeah, you know, I'm not doing as bad as some of the guys on the Dolphins defense. Saw Traylor coming off the, out of the tunnel there after halftime. He didn't look good, man. He didn't have a smile on his face. Those guys were a little bubbly and happy, but they need to go and get a little bit more of a rotation. And like Darryl said, man, they got to get off the field. The offense has to help them get off the field. These guys are not designed to go 10, 20 plays in a row.
All right, thanks, Tony. Dick Folk starts the second half off by kicking off to Ted Ginn Jr., who takes it out of the end zone for the Dolphins. Ginn brings it up to the 27-yard line. Sam Hurd brought him down. Tony Romo in the first half, 9 for 17, 114 yards. Marion Barber with the only touchdown of the first half, and Terrell Owens 3 receptions, 51 yards. For the latest in fantasy stats, log on to foxsports.com or NFL.com. Trent Green just 6 of 14 in the first half, 72 yards in his second start as a Miami Dolphin. Dolphins will start their first drive of the second half from their own 27-yard line. And a big hole for Ronnie Brown, who takes it out to the 39-yard line for a gain of 12 and a Dolphins first down.
And that's one of the things you're going to have to do. Let your offensive linemen start coming off the ball, control that clock, stay in manageable down and distances, and take advantage of the fact that Jay Ratliff is out there making his second career start. We didn't really see a commitment to the run game in the first half by the Dolphins. Didn't have a lot of opportunities, but when they did, they weren't really testing the middle of that defense.
Just saw Jason Witten come back out on the field. He had to have a IV there at halftime. He's back out though now.
And that run by Brown, more yards than he gave the entire first half. Green to the outside, and the catch is made in Cowboys territory by Chris Chambers at the Dallas 48-yard line, a 13-yard pickup.
We talked a little bit in the end of that half how it looked like they were out of sync with their offense, especially the wide receivers. But Chris Chambers has a little bit of experience in this system when Norv Turner was here. Marty Booker has a little bit of experience in this offense from his time in Chicago when Terry Shea was the offensive coordinator. So they've got a few guys out there that had some slight exposure to it.
Terry Shea, now the Dolphins quarterbacks coach. From the 48-yard line, it's Brown up the middle. One of the nice runs by Ronnie Brown to start this second half, as he gains 8 on this one after picking up 12 on his previous carry.
and going right at that middle of the defensive line for the Cowboys, something we really didn't see him try and take advantage of, or at least try and find out. Well, you know, how were they going to adjust?
On 2nd and 3, the handoff to Brown. Brown able to move the chains, picks up another first down to the Cowboys 38-yard line.
You think that offense got a talking to at halftime, Tony?
Oh, yeah, he said something. I don't know if he chewed him out, it just gave him a little bit of confidence, but you know, Ronnie Brown on that play was stopped there and just kept his feet going and moving, getting the first down. They definitely saw the faces of those defensive linemen on their own team and said, man, we got to get a couple first downs here.
Yeah, completely different in what they're doing offensively on this drive than what they did at any point in the first half.
From the Cowboys 38, off the play fake, bring it to the outside, and it's gathered in by Chambers at the Cowboys 29-yard line.
Well, you don't have Terrence Newman starting, so, you know, why not? Why not go after Jacques Reeves? See how he's doing, a little slip there at the top of the route. Played it pretty well, except for that slip. But, you know, there's some things on that defense that Miami really didn't try and attack or kind of see how they're going to do things. You know, you've got a new nose tackle. You've got a guy making his second start in the NFL.
Giants went after Reeves last week. On 2nd and 1, Brown. Brady James came up to make the tackle.
That's not makeup on the official's face there. That's the yellow line getting in the way a little bit. It is getting close to Halloween, though. So they say that guy needs to brush his teeth or something, huh, guys?
A little shade growing in some yellow whiskers.
And our yellow line, of course, is unofficial.
I don't even know why I had to pull him out.
I think they saw those defensive linemen and figured, let me give them let's give them a little bit more of a break. Those guys that look like they had much time off.
Big question, Tony. What did you do at halftime?
And I ran in for an IV and a couple hot dogs. But I didn't want to say that.
More hot dogs than IVs?
No, Gatorade or something, man. You got to stay liquided up, like I am now.
Green on the sneak picks up the first down. And the Dolphins on this opening drive of the second half. Thanks in large part to the arm of Green and the running of Ronnie Brown, able to move the chains once again, and they've held on to the ball for the first 4 minutes.
Yeah, well, let's see what they do down here in the red zone now. Leaning heavy on the rush to start the second half. They bogged down at this point in the field in the first half. Their two drives that when they got down into this area had to settle for field goals.
From the Cowboys 27. Green to the tight end, David Martin. The former Green Bay Packer makes the catch for another Dolphins first down at the Cowboys 15.
A really nice design on this play to clear that backside out for David Martin. You bring Marty Booker in motion, send him down the field, and everybody kind of turns and runs with him, and you leave this big void. Watch Marty Booker go in motion. Now as he comes up, takes Anthony Henry with him, there goes David Martin right into that little vacated spot.
Martin spent the last 6 years in Green Bay. From the 15, some trickery from Cam Cameron, the end around. And Ted Ginn Jr. loses a couple of yards.
And Dallas, their defense is too fast. Too fast. I mean, there are certain defenses that the reverses and the misdirection plays work well. But we saw in the first half, Roy Williams read one very early, was up Actually, probably there before the guy on the reverse was there. Kind of the same result here with the second one.
Keep in mind, Cam Cameron and Wade Phillips faced each other in practice every day for the last 3 seasons, so there are not many surprises. Second down at 13. Green to the end zone. Touchdown! Marty Booker.
Completely different offense to start the second half, and boy, did that Dolphin defense need that to catch some extra time to recover. Ronnie Brown gets him going with some good runs early on. Then Trent Green and the wide receivers get in sync in the passing game.
Jay Feely adds the extra point. Well, the Dolphins are on top by 3. 18-yard touchdown pass from Trent Green to Marty Booker.
Today's game on Fox is sponsored by Southwest Airlines. With Southwest Airlines' convenient nonstop flights, it's like having your own company plane. By CareerBuilder.com, a better job awaits, and CareerBuilder.com has the most. By Walmart, this season game time means Walmart. Save money, live better. And by Jeep, with 7 Jeep vehicles, there's one for you.
Miami Dolphins have regained the lead. Perfect drive for Trent Green, completing all 4 of his pass attempts, including the touchdown throw to Marty Booker. Jay Feely kicks off, taken at the 6 by Miles Austin. And Austin tripped up after he crossed the 25.
Well, we went away last time. We showed you that touchdown catch by Marty Booker. Looked like he was close, but watch the footwork with the left foot right here. Turns it a little bit, sneaks it inside that white line.
Back in Miami, Kenny Albert, Darryl Johnston, Tony Siragusa. First offensive possession for the Cowboys. In the second half, they trail the Dolphins 13-10. Julius Jones in the backfield, Romo to the air on first down, and he tried to fire it through to Jason Witten, but he was triple teamed on the play. So a 2nd and 10 coming up.
You might have wanted to come to the outside on that one. Terrell Owens was 1-on-1 on the outside. Jason Witten was 1-on-3 in the middle. You watch Terrell Owens on the outside. He's in 1-on-1 coverage, runs a little hitch route. There's your guy. Not so good in the middle.
Got a big cushion there.
So a refreshed Miami Dolphins defense back out on the field after they played over 19 minutes in the first half. Romo to the near side, and the catch is made by Sam Hurd. Close to a first down up at the 39-yard line. Second catch of the game for Hurd.
It's just amazing, yeah, the way they roll these guys in. And having played in this system, it is extremely user-friendly. It's an easy, effective system to learn, and the versatility and the flexibility that you can create with all these different guys on the outside. I don't know why more teams aren't using it. It's awesome.
Hurd picked up the first down. Jones the lone back, Witten shifting. First and 10 from the 39. Jones up the middle. Gains 3 out to the 42-yard line. Zach Thomas, Joey Porter. And on the tackle for the Dolphins.
They look like they got a little bit more energy than they did that last drive of the first half. So
it looks like they're getting a good read, too. Defensive linemen were yelling back and forth, run. So they're getting a good read on the depth of the back, I think, and deciding whether it's going to be pass or run up there.
Second down and 7. Romo looking for the fullback, Oliver Hoyt, who caught 2 passes last season. But Darryl, he's a converted linebacker out of NC State.
yeah, but Oliver was looking for Zach Thomas before he had the ball. You see he gets out to the flat, but he's going to sneak a little peek to the inside to see where 54 is.
Coaching going on the sideline, how to catch a ball, looks like.
That was Skip Peete, the brother of Rodney Peete, the Cowboys running backs coach, chatting with Oliver Hoyt. 3rd down and 7. Cowboys have to get to midfield, and Owens unable to make the catch, and then he took a hard hit from Tavares Tillman.
Terrell Owens on the inside. Gonna come down, get into that corner. Pretty good coverage. Travis Daniels underneath. And there's Tavares Tillman coming in, putting a hit on Terrell Owens to make sure he doesn't make that catch.
So McBriar back to punt. Ted Ginn Jr. back deep.
See on the outside, Nathan Jones. Yeah, see how he's got to come back onto the field to play as soon as he can. I think that's what they indicated at first.
And then Jones made the tackle.
Unsportsmanlike conduct, kicking team. The flyer went out of bounds and stayed out. 15-yard penalty from the end of the play. 1st down, timeout.
So Jones did not attempt to get back in bounds quick enough, costing the Cowboys 15 yards. Good start to this second half for the Dolphins offense. They marched 73 yards in 10 plays to take the lead, and now they get the ball back starting from their own 28. Green hitting Chambers, and Chambers upended by DeMarcus Ware after a gain of 5.
Well, right now Brian Stewart has to realize he's got something that Miami's not adjusting to. Watch Brady James. Remember when he hit that earlier in the game? He hit it again. Vernon Carey is not getting down. He's taken a very poor first step, and Brady James has beaten him across his face twice now. I keep coming with that thing until you can show me you can pick it up.
Second down and Ronnie Brown up the middle. Gains a couple as we check in with Kurt Menefee in Los Angeles. Kurt.
Detroit quarterback John Kidna out with what they think is a concussion, so J.T. O'Sullivan comes in, throws his first NFL touchdown to the rookie Calvin Johnson, and the Lions are celebrating up 17-7 against Minnesota. Matt and J.C.
Well, actually, it's Kenny and Darryl, but it's only week 2 for Kurt, so we won't hold it against him. Matt Vasgersian and J.C. Pearson are actually working that game in Detroit.
There's where the connection. Just one of those Freudian slips.
I guess he's been listening to Matt and J.C. 3rd down and 2. Green's pass batted at the line, and now the Dolphins will have to punt.
Jay Ratliff not as big as Jason Ferguson, so they're going to try and move him around. He actually beats Samson Satella kind of right off the start, gets up the field, gets that hand up, knows he's not going to get to Trent Green, but gets that big arm up.
That's a huge play. A tip like that, anytime you get a nice turnover, that's a great job getting his hands up. Not easy to do either.
Brandon Fields punting from his own 25, but the play blown dead.
Offense number 22. 5-yard penalty. 4th down.
That's Michael Lehan. Darryl, this is the first we have seen of Patrick Creighton, who is back deep to receive the punt since he went out with the injured finger in the first half.
Good way to find out how that finger's doing. You can see it on the right hand, all taped up. Got it taped to the ring finger next to it.
Buddy him up, man, and go, baby. That's it.
That'll hold it in place. Fields punting from the 20. Forcing Creighton all the way back to the 16-yard line. Good coverage downfield. Terrific special teams work by the Dolphins. A 53-yard punt. No return for Creighton.
In the end, all roads lead to Dodge Ram. That's because Dodge Ram is the longest-lasting, most durable line of full-size trucks on the road.
Now get 0% financing or up to $6,000 cash allowance and a lifetime powertrain warranty on Ram 1500.
What's better than watching your team spank your brother-in-law's team? Watching it in high definition. Trust me. And the best place to get your new HD TV? Walmart. They've got all the best brands for prices you can.
A late penalty flag was thrown, so Brandon Fields will punt it again.
Let's see what this does for the Dallas Cowboys in field position. They were going to start at their 15. This is one of those, little penalties. You do a re-kick, advantage goes to the return team.
Another good kick by Fields, taken at the 21 by Creighton. Wow. Creighton across midfield. What a turn of events for the Cowboys following the penalty. Instead of starting at their own 15, they will start at the Dolphins' 30.
55 yards of field position lost on a 10-yard penalty.
Wow. A 49-yard return by Creighton.
Jason Allen, possibly the culprit on that previous punt. You see right here, they've got Patrick Creighton all bottled up. He's down at the 15.
So as you said, a 55-yard swing in field position.
The little things. We've seen a lot of little things in this game today. Poor tackling at times in the first half. Some guys losing their composure, getting some cheap 15-yard personal foul penalties.
First and 10 from the Miami 30. Romo complete to Witten. First down at the Dolphins 16, a 14-yard pass play.
And there's an area that, that they have to get back to. Jason Witten, not on the outside, though. I would like to see Dallas attack the middle of the field. We talked about Jeremiah Bell in the beginning of the game. Both Zach Thomas and Jason Taylor said probably the most difficult player on our defense to replace. He's out of the lineup. Donovan Darius on that one. That last play brought in this week as a safety, but let's see if we can get Jason Witten back down, working that middle of the field and not on the outside.
Today's game on Fox is sponsored by UPS. What can Brown do for you?
Dolphins lead the Cowboys 13-10. Cowboys on the move. First and 10 from the Miami 16. Bird split to the left, Owens to the right. Jones following the fullback Oliver Hoyt.
Who's that? That Donovan Darius? Man, there's some fresh legs. He hasn't played in a while. A great safety for the Jacksonville Jaguars. Had some tough injury luck the last couple of years, torn ACL, broken leg. But boy, he came from way back and tried to put a big hit on everybody in that pile.
Darius flew in on Tuesday, signed with the Dolphins after Jeremiah Bell was placed on injured reserve. He was in camp with the Oakland Raiders after 9 seasons in Jacksonville. Second down and 8. Romo can't find anyone. He's backpedaling now. He throws to the end zone, and Creighton was grabbed from behind. Patrick Creighton's jersey was held on the play, and the penalty markers were thrown.
That's a dumb penalty. The ball's way over your head. Let the guy go.
Can't be PI. It's got to be holding.
Pass interference. Defense, number 29. Automatic first down.
Well, can't you call uncatchable on pass interference where on holding you can't? Little in and out route. Now the adjustment. He's beat. Just a little scramble drill right there.
Ball might have been catchable if his jersey wasn't held.
Yeah, you know, that's the thing. Yeah, good point by you, Kenny. You know, yeah, I would have got there if the guy wasn't tugging my jersey.
I like how he turned around and tried to say, no, everything was good. Everything was good. Bad salesman there.
Cowboys have 3 tight ends in the game. First and goal from the Dolphins, 2. Romo in trouble, he throws, touchdown! There's a flag as well. The catch is made in the end zone by Tony Curtis, the 3rd string tight end.
Holding, defense number 25. Phillies decline. Touchdown.
You know, he grew up a fan of Brett Favre's, and it's kind of, at times you can see things that Brett Favre does in the way that Tony Romo plays the position. And we did the game last week, and we saw Brett do some of his crazy things. There's the
that's a tackle
by Will Allen, not the hold. But this throw, I mean, Joey Porter's got him dead to rights. He's going down, and the ability to stay focused down the field with your eyes and find Tony Curtis. I mean, there's a lot of things that he does that you see the little subtleties of a Brett Favre.
Nick Folk adds the extra point for Tony Curtis, his first NFL catch. He's in his 2nd season out of Portland State. His first NFL reception, his first NFL touchdown.
See the scoring drive right there. Patrick Creighton, 49-yard punt return on the 2nd return. So really the huge thing, the 10-yard penalty on the Miami Dolphins on that first punt when they would have held Dallas to a 1st and 10 at their own 15, but give up 55 yards in field position after that punt return by Patrick Creighton.
So the Cowboys only had to go 30 yards instead of 85, following the longest punt return of Creighton's NFL career. Ted Ginn Jr. stops shy of the 15-yard line.
You may be able to outrun people on special teams in the collegiate level, but you're not going to do it here.
A little different than Ohio State, son.
Yeah, you got to hit it. You got to get your timing set up with your wedge, get the right separation between you and the other deep man to allow him to pick up anything that falls through the cracks, and you've got to hit that where it's designed to go. You can't be tiptoeing around on kickoff return.
To put Ginn's 8 return touchdowns at Ohio State in perspective, the Dolphins have had 8 touchdowns on special teams in the last 25 years. Trent Crane and the Dolphins start from their own 15. Nice play by Jock Reeves. Coming up to make the play on Chris Chambers.
He's about a half step away from having himself a touchdown. All afternoon, Dallas has been able to respond when Miami's come back out. We got to see if Trent Ginn can get this group to respond. Boy, was he lucky there.
Reeves replacing the injured Terrence Newman once again. 2nd and 10. Green to a wide open Marty Booker. Booker picks up a first down out to the 31-yard line, a gain of 16.
Well, Camp Canram told us that, you know, we're not quite there yet. I feel good about my wide receivers. You know, the tight end is another big position in this offense. He would like to see David Martin relax a little bit more, get some confidence. He's still waiting on Ronnie Brown, but you can see reasons for him to be excited. At times during the course of the afternoon, this offense has worked very efficiently. They're just a little bit inconsistent right now as they're starting to learn it.
Green 6 of 8 here in the 3rd quarter. Making 6 of 9. He's picked off for the 2nd time today. Ken Hamlin, the former Seahawk, with his 9th career pick, his first as a Dallas Cowboy.
Well, he had his receiver. He just airmailed it a little bit. He's got Chris Chambers on the skinny post. Going against Anthony Henry. Watch where this ball is placed. I don't know if Chris Chambers got in a little too far inside. Just looks like it's overthrown. No pressure in the face. Just sails on him a little bit. Kent Hamlin playing the deep half. Look what I found.
Hamlin returned at 35 yards. Cowboys started their last drive on the Dolphin 30. They start this one on the Miami 15. Marion Barber in the backfield. Barber takes the handoff from Romo, cuts to his right, looks to turn the corner. He does, and is finally knocked out of bounds by Joey Porter.
That's what that running back platoon system can do for you, because Travaris Tillman has got Marion Barber in his sights, but because they're sharing time, Julius Jones and Marion Barber, they've got a little bit more zip at this stage of the game on a humid afternoon. Travaris has been out there most of the game. He can't get there in time and get Marion Barber down.
Second down and 5. Barber the lone back, Romo out of the shotgun. Romo fakes the handoff to Barber, fakes the throw, and then he's down at the 10.
You know, even though Trent Green makes a bad play on that last play, he does go after he throws the interception. He gets right in there, and he's the one who stops him. I mean, throws his body in there. Not a lot of quarterbacks will go throw their body in there and make the tackle after they made a mistake on an interception, but you got to take your hat off to Trent Green. He goes and sticks with it and gives his defense a chance. Especially a 37-year-old quarterback, Tony. It wasn't an ideal tackle, but he got it done.
Third down and 5, 3 wide receivers set. Owen split to the left, Hurd and Clayton to the right. Now Hurd comes in motion, they fake the end around. Romo in trouble. Now he fires to the end zone to Owens, and it's incomplete.
That looked like a Barry Sanders move. Stop, back up, move. Tony Romo's making things happen.
Watch him freeze Jason Taylor. That's skill on skill right there. Jason Taylor is a very athletic football player, but I mean, he's swinging it air. That right there, that's fatigue. That is just fatigue for Jason Taylor.
So now Folk out to attempt a 28-yard field goal, hit from 26 earlier. Veteran quarterback Brad Johnson puts it down, and Folk's kick is good. So the Cowboys capitalize on the Hamlin interception and add to their lead. It's now 20-13.
Impressive stand by that Dolphin defense, though. You get the long punt return, you're backed up, you give up a touchdown, your offense comes out, has an interception, you get the sudden change, you're right back out on the field. They're able to muster up enough energy to hold them to a field goal. Jason Taylor still doesn't believe he missed Tony Romo.
He doesn't miss many of them, Moose. I'll tell you that. He sort of was like shaking his head, looking on the sideline, going, I can't believe that just happened to me.
You compared Romo's play earlier to a Brett Favre-like play. We saw a couple of them last week in Green Bay. And Romo grew up in Wisconsin. He went to a Packers game at the age of 12. And he said, watching Brett Favre play that day was the reason why I started playing quarterback.
And you know, the other thing, they both play the game with a smile on their face, and they have fun while they're on the field, which is, you know, one of my favorite things about Brett Favre. You know, he's the ultimate competitor, but he has so much fun when he plays the game, and you see it. You see a lot of that in Tony Romo at this stage of his career too. He has fun when he's out on the field.
Picked off by Folk, taken on the run by Ted Ginn Jr. Cuts to his right, and is knocked out of bounds by Miles Austin at the 26-yard line. So Trent Green and the Dolphins offense back out onto the field. Words of wisdom from head coach Cam Cameron. Of course, they communicate as well via the coach to quarterback radio, and a lot of talk this week about whether or not one defensive player should be allowed to have a communication device from the sidelines.
They absolutely should. Absolutely should. Then you don't have the whole situation that we've been talking about all week long with the New England Patriots.
First and 10 for the Dolphins from their own 26. Green with time. Chris Chambers wide open. 23-yard pass play out to the 49-yard line.
Boy, you were right, Kenny. Wide open. Anthony Henry is playing really, really soft today. I mean, we've seen a couple. He's got his hips to the outside. Chris Chambers breaks right across his face.
Chambers, by the way, had a huge day in his only previous game against the Cowboys on Thanksgiving in 2003. 3 touchdown receptions. Dolphins won that game 40-21. Green had some trouble with the snap. And the Cowboys have recovered the 3rd Miami Dolphins turnover. Recovered by Jay Ratliff. And Tony, you've been talking throughout the afternoon about Miami's rookie center, Samson Satella.
You know, you have to get it up. You know, he gets it up, but you have to keep it there. You can't just go and throw it back and come off the ball. He needs to go and get that ball up and leave it there right between his legs for Trent to grab that. I mean, that was...
Careful. Careful now.
That was not a good play.
Yeah, we saw at the end of the first half when he tried to spike the ball, too. He had some trouble with this QB center exchange on that one. Actually, that ended up being a fumble that they had to go back and redo it to clock it.
So, guys, the Cowboys start their 3rd consecutive drive in Dolphins territory. Romo's pass sailing away from the intended receiver, Patrick Creighton.
All right, Marion Barber. And one of the reasons that he is in on 3rd down, not because he's a great playmaker and he's got good hands, because he's a great pass protector. Watch this one. This is Zach Thomas. This is just technically, you can't do it any better than that. That was outstanding.
Barber remains in the backfield on 2nd and 10. Three wide receivers set. Owens in the slot. Cowboys keep it on the ground with Barber. Wrapped up by Shannon Crowder. After a gain of 3.
You jaw with a running back, he's going to get right back in your face. I mean, Marion Barber, he's not going to take anything from anybody.
Barber and his dad have something in common now.
That being?
They've both scored a touchdown against the Miami Dolphins. His dad, Marion, a former New York Jet. And Marion scored the first touchdown of today's game for the Cowboys.
Nuggets.
3rd down and 7. Romo complete. Owens. Terrell Owens with a first down for the Dolphins 33.
He's got to keep him patient. I mean, we've been talking about Witten and Barber, and Patrick Creighton's been doing some things. Haven't really mentioned T.O. in a while. Kind of forget, and then all of a sudden here he comes with the ball in his hand. You're like, wow, that's right. You know, they got the big man on the outside too.
4 receptions for Owens today, 63 yards, and that will bring us to the end of the 3rd quarter. Dolphins took the lead, but they've turned the ball over twice. Cowboys on the move will return after these messages from your local Fox station.
You're watching Fox NFL Sunday.
Week 2 of the National Football League. Kenny Albert, Darrell Johnston, Tony Siragusa, Cowboys. And offensive coordinator Jason Garrett start the 4th quarter, leading the Dolphins by 7. From the Miami 33, play action on 1st down. Romo could not find anyone downfield. He slides safely into the shortstop position.
Yeah, he'll get a feel for what those baseball guys go through. We talked about that baseball surface that's out there. He doesn't have the little sliding pad in those pants. We played one time in Cleveland. I spent the bus ride going to the airport picking stones out of my palms.
At the old Cleveland Stadium.
Old Cleveland Stadium.
That must have been fun.
Yeah, that was an experience.
Heard about the locker rooms there.
Yeah, fabulous.
Second down and 2, Marion Barber. Wow. Terrific second effort by Barber.
Talk about making something out of nothing. You know, standing here in the end zone, looking at it, there was no hole there, and all of a sudden he comes through, gets the first down.
Got his chin strap up over his nose, helmet cocked forward.
Julius Jones had the majority of the carries in the first half, but here in the second half, Darrell, a heavy dose of Marion Barber. Barber remains in the backfield. Owens in the slot. First and 10. From the 19. Owens in motion. Movement prior to the snap.
Ball start. Offense number 76. 5-yard penalty. First down.
You called it earlier, Moose. Flozell Adams. He's got Jason Taylor over him, but got to hold on in there. Can't be flinching and trying to get the advantage getting back.
He has a handful of those every year. Actually, maybe 2 handfuls.
Got a couple today. Pushes the Cowboys back 5 yards. From the Dolphins 24 on 1st and 15. Marion Barber over the pitcher's mound and shoved out of bounds after gaining 10.
Here's one of those plays that Jason Garrett will see. He goes, you know, I like this play action in the backfield. You know, I know you guys messed this one up. You know, you guys weren't in sync, but you know what? It ended up working out pretty good. Tony Romo, no, oh, that's right. He's over here on this side. Kind of a delayed counter draw cutback.
Jason Garrett, the quarterback's coach under Nick Saban here in Miami the last 2 seasons. Second down and 5 again. It's Barber. Oh, big collision with Ronaldo Hill.
He is a football player. He is a football player. Those are the guys that scare you. You know, when you go up and you hit somebody and you bring everything you got and you hit, you have this huge collision, and you get up and they're jumping up and down, high-fiving you. That's when you know it's going to be a long day.
Third down and 5. Romo to Sam Hurd, the penalty marker, as Hurd picks up the first down, but it'll be called back. Offensive pass interference will be the call.
There are 2 fouls on the play. Holding, offense number 63. That penalty's declined. Pass interference, offense number 17. 10-yard penalty, third down.
Sam Hurd on the outside, working against Travis Daniels. Not a lot, but enough. I don't know.
Chase Page had a really nice pass rush on the inside. He was the guy who got held. He was right in Romo's face, and Romo did a great job getting that ball off him.
So it's now 3rd and 15 from the 24. Cowboys have to get to the 9 for a first down. Another penalty marker. Romo is not ready for the snap.
Referee was looking for a lateral.
False start, offense number 75. 5-yard penalty, third down.
That's on the right tackle, Mark Colombo.
Watch the top of your screen. Ball comes in late. Jason Taylor picks it up. He scoops it up. He's running down the field. Then you had the referee running next to him with his hands out like he wanted the lateral. Tony, what do you got on 3rd and 24?
I don't know. The defensive tackles are talking, man. Little stunt maybe inside.
Here comes Taylor.
There it is.
Romo took a hit from Roth as he threw it out of bounds.
They did a nice job here. If you look at the defensive tackle and defensive end on the top of your screen, they come off, he's reading him, he slows him down, the end comes inside, tackle comes outside, and boom, closes. That's exactly how it's supposed to work. Get the offensive lineman on 2 different levels and attack the quarterback.
So a 47-yard attempt for the rookie Nick Folk. Ball placed down by Brad Johnson, and the kick by Folk is good. His longest field goal in 2 games in the NFL, extending the Cowboys' lead as they score another 3 points off another Dolphins turnover.
Today's game on Fox is sponsored by E-Trade. It's easy, it's extraordinary. It's E-Trade by Chevy, an American revolution. And by Bud Light, refreshingly smooth Bud Light, always worth it.
11 minutes remaining, 4th quarter here in Miami. Cowboys with their biggest lead of the game. It's now 23-13. Nick Folk with his 3rd field goal of the game. And now Folk kicks off. Taken at the 7 by Ted King Jr. And he's brought down after crossing the 25 by Kevin Burnett. Well, Tony, I know you'll be glued to the television tonight.
I just found one of these myself. That's what I want.
Is that yours from 25th Hour?
No, it isn't, but I'm going to say it is.
Best supporting actor in a supporting role that played in the NFL that had no acting experience before goes to?
I like that. Penalty markers.
False start. Offense number 84. 5-yard penalty. First down.
That's on Chambers. Forcing the Dolphins back 5 yards.
I don't know if they got louder whistles this year or what, man, but when them whistles go off, I mean, it's loud. Loud whistles. I think I have these things in my ear.
Green on 1st and 15. Anthony Henry on the coverage.
Got lucky there. Tried to force something in. Lucky Anthony Henry didn't get that an interception on that one.
He picked off Green earlier, one of 3 Dolphin turnovers. What do you think Tony's listening to with that earpiece? I know it's not us. Green on 2nd down, complete to Chambers. Takes it out to the 28. Nathan Jones made the tackle after a gain of 7.
They started the first half running Ronnie Brown. And, I mean, we've got just a little under 10.5 minutes to go. It's a 2-possession game. Obviously, here on 3rd and long, you're not going to do it, but to start the drive, I mean, I don't know why they've kind of gotten away from Ronnie a little bit after the success they had on that opening drive.
Brown is on the sidelines, not wearing his helmet.
Does he have it in his hand, or they take it away from him? Maybe he's got a concussion.
Green on 3rd and 8. And complete.
Oh, look at the horse collar. That's the guy that they developed the rule for.
That's right. Roy Williams bringing down Jesse Chapman. Well shy of the first down marker.
Take a look at the end. Roy Williams coming across. Good position again, hugging those check down routes. I guess because he got the shoulder down first as opposed to pulling him backwards. Good. Fine line.
Fields punt end over end. Creighton has it bounce away. Took it on one hop and then it bounced off his chest and he pounces on it at the 24. There's Ronnie Brown on the Miami sideline.
Today's game on Fox is sponsored by Cadillac. Introducing the all-new 2008 Cadillac CTS.
Cowboys still trying to keep cool.
That's like when you get the haircut. Get that summer cut when get it cut real short. Got to get all those little hairs blown off. Howie Long knows what that's all about.
What do they call those things?
What things? Those little hairs?
Little hairs.
I don't know, but they itch like crazy if they get down your shirt.
Cowboys start from their own 24 as Julius Jones is tackled behind the line by Channing Crowder. We approach 9 minutes remaining in the fourth. Cowboys with a 10-point lead. They scored their last 6 points following Miami turnovers. Tony Romo with a touchdown pass to Tony Curtis. Marion Barber ran one into the end zone in the second quarter. 4 receptions for Terrell Owens. Officials now discussing the flag following the previous play.
Where are these flags coming from? They coming from under the ground, Tony?
I don't know. They're not throwing them real high in there, I'll tell you. Usually they're like confetti. I think they're just like trying to hide them from us. A lot of late ones. Checked on Ronnie Brown also, Moose. He's not hurt over there. They're just having him sitting on the sideline.
Brown was effective, as you mentioned, early in the third quarter.
Kind of gave him a little shot in the arm there in that opening drive in the second half.
Second down and 22. Jones up to the 19-yard line. Matt Roth made the tackle.
Just going to start working the clock. Cowboys run some time off there. The Dolphins still down by 2 scores, so less time, less chance of scoring twice.
And the Cowboys had a tough time getting to South Florida. They were forced to land in New Orleans last night due to hydraulic problems. They spent close to 3 hours in the New Orleans airport.
Hey, good thing it was a late game today. They were able to adjust their schedule to fit that.
Romo takes off, looking for the chains, and he dives about 2 yards shy of the marker.
Man-to-man coverage with the middle of the field open. There's nobody there when Tony Romo pulls that ball down.
Romo picking up 17.
I mean, watch the void in the middle of the field. Got man-to-man. There goes Zach. Channing Crowder goes out. Look at that. There is nobody there. Ronaldo Hill is trying to get back.
Andre Giroux does a nice job of clearing out that middle, leaving the lane. Even if he doesn't run, he has a nice lane there to see all his receivers downfield. No hands, no obstructions. Nice job on that offensive line of Dallas.
17 yards, longest run of Romo's career. Third down and 3. Jones tripped up. Wants to be just short.
I think he should have stayed outside. Jason Witten got a nice lead block for him. Julius came back inside. I think if he stays outside, he's going to get enough for that first down. Jason Witten doesn't get a lot of credit for being a real physical blocker. great down the field stretching defenses and a great pass receiver, but he put a heck of a lead block on that play. Jason Witten out in front. Watch the kick out block right there. Channing Crowder just goes backwards. I don't know. Looks, well, I guess Zach Thomas is coming over the top, kind of forces Julius Jones back inside.
So McBriar back at his own 18. Ted Ginn Jr. back deep for the Dolphins. Vikings and Lions now tied at 17. Cardinals and Seahawks tied late. Bears looking to bounce back from their loss in San Diego.
Ted Ginn Jr. needs to go and return something. He needs to get a little bit more aggressive. Very slow going and hitting in north and south. I don't know, it looks a little tentative to me.
What do you think of that return, Tony?
I don't know, it looked like he was avoiding it a little bit. Get up there and stick your nose in there, son.
49-yard punt, 14 on the return. Dallas Cowboys and Tony Romo hoping to start the season 2-0. Lead Trent Green and the Miami Dolphins by 10. 6:16 remaining, fourth quarter. As the Dolphins start from their own 30. Chapman in the backfield. Green to the air. On first down of it. Catch is made by Booker. Takes it out to the 49, a 19-yard pass play.
Good position with the pass by Trent Green. Put it in the spot where only Marty Booker was going to get it. Tight coverage.
From the 49 on first down. Green looking for Chambers. It is picked off. Second of the game for Henry. The fourth Dolphins turnover. Anthony Henry with his 24th career interception, his second today, and he returned it 19 yards.
Well, we have seen him play soft several times this afternoon, giving a lot of cushion, but watch Anthony Henry jump this route. Now, sometimes in a timing-based offense, you know what's coming. Anthony knew this was a speed cut out. He beats Chris Chambers to the ball. Great play by Anthony Henry. That ball will come out on time. The receivers are hitting landmarks. And Anthony Henry knew that that route was coming and beat Chris Chambers to the spot.
I'm surprised they haven't challenged it, that he was down when he got that interception. Looked like he was touched almost, guys.
Well, the Dolphins can't challenge now as Jones takes it down to the 35. Dolphins have turned the ball over now on 3 of their last 4 possessions.
What a reversal from Sunday night. I mean, a high-powered, explosive offense for the Cowboys. You know, gets them the 45 points that they need to beat the New York Giants. And today it's the defense stepping up and making big plays.
Doing it without 3 key starters.
The most important pieces of the puzzle for Wade Phillips' defense. They're not out there, and yet this group kind of rallies behind each other and has a great afternoon.
Pass intended for Sam Hurd as we check in once again with Kurt Menefee.
Kenny, Moose, and Goose. Kenny, Moose, and Goose. All right, I'm trying to remember this now. Detroit, Minnesota with a forgettable day offensively for both teams. Roy Williams fumbles here, one of 9 combined turnovers. John Kitna is back in the game for Detroit. They need him. It's all tied at 17. Back to Kenny, Moose, and Goose.
Wow, 9 turnovers.
He's got it. He's got it.
Thanks, Kurt. 9 turnovers in that game, 4 in this game, all 4 committed by the Miami Dolphins. Marion Barber to the 33.
Well, they have come out and played very well defensively, the Miami Dolphins. And I think they wanted to show that their performance in the second half last week and into overtime against the Washington Redskins was not what this unit was about. And with all the talk about Dallas's offense, they've come out and played well, especially losing Jeremiah Bell in that game last week, and listening to all the guys talk about what an important cog he was going to be in this defense this year. They have never quit today. They have been on the field a ton, especially in that first half.
Now the question here, as Wade Phillips lets the clock run all the way down, will the Cowboys go for it on 4th and 4 or send out Folk for a 51-yard field goal attempt? Well, in case you missed it earlier, we take a look back at our Fox NFL Sunday pregame show.
It's week 2 in the NFL, and welcome.
In college, a lot of the head coaches didn't know, but we had some overt operations on the offense. Oh, yeah.
Everybody wants to know what evidence the NFL has to drop the hammer on the Patriots. Well, we've got it for you.
How excited are you about the Raiders' chances? Ridiculous.
How about Jake Glazer getting a hold of that footage from the sidelines at the Meadowlands last week?
That was unbelievable. Jay Glazer using that network of his. But the great thing is you saw the signals and then how they panned up and down in distance. And, he made the point. You put that together with the normal game tape, you're going to have a pretty good idea what's going on. So kind of irrefutable evidence that, yes, Bill Belichick was trying to gain a competitive advantage, doing something a little shady over there.
Well, the Cowboys have decided not to send out their field goal kicker. They will go for it on 4th and 4 with a 10-point lead from the Dolphins' 34-yard line. Romo looking for Owens. He makes the catch and he takes it into the end zone. Touchdown, Terrell Owens.
I love the aggressive play calling of Jason Garrett the last 2 weeks. 4th and 4, kind of a critical part. It's going to be the last chance.
He got flagged again.
Shocking.
He doesn't care.
Yeah. I mean, I just love the play call by Jason Garrett. He's not trying to get first down. He's going to have something called where if he has the opportunity to put the nail in the coffin, he's going to do it. He'll have himself protected with some outs that'll potentially get him the first down, but he's going for touchdown. I love the way he has called the game the first 2 weeks of the season.
And then the flag for the excessive celebration. Folk adding the extra point. The 117th career touchdown reception for Terrell Owens.
Again, late in the game, kind of sealing it, going up against Travis Daniels, just gives a little stutter go. I don't know if that was eye contact between Terrell Owens and Tony Romo that extended that route, but great execution in the last 2 weeks. Terrell Owens has come up big for the Cowboys, staying patient throughout the game, understanding the nature of this offense. He'll find his chances to make plays if he just stays with the game plan.
What do you think he was attempting to do there, Tony?
I don't know what that was, whether he was reeling a fish in or he was...
I knew you were going to go to the fishing. I knew you were going to the fishing
thing. There's a lot of water down here in South Florida. I think it was like reeling a fish in. He had a bad pole or something, fish on, or maybe a movie with the Emmys being on tonight. Could have been a lot of things, guys.
I knew you were going fishing first. Most people would go movie camera. I knew you were going fishing.
How about you guys? What do you think it was?
I don't pay attention to those anymore. I actually didn't see it. I was watching the replay.
He was cranking something.
Cranky. Been hanging around with Matt McBriar too much.
Well, following the penalty, the celebration, Folk will kick off from the 15-yard line.
Well, those big guys got to take advantage of that.
Instead, it's Ginn takes it into Cowboys territory to the Dallas 49. Cowboys led 10-6 at the half. Marty Booker gave Miami the lead. 49-yard punt return by Patrick Creighton led to this touchdown throw from Tony Romo to Tony Curtis, giving Dallas a 4-point lead. Since that touchdown, the Dolphins have committed 3 turnovers, leading to 13 points for the Dallas Cowboys.
And there's your latest points right there. Terrell Owens going over the top.
Green fires complete. Chris Chambers. First down at the Cowboys 35. And for the first time in a couple of series, Darryl, we see Ronnie Brown back in the Miami backfield.
Well, I don't understand, why he wasn't out there. He started the second half very well. I think he added a little bit of a spark to the offense with the way he was running the ball. But Ronnie Brown, he's got to figure it out, because Cam Cameron's offense, I mean, it's an important cog, and there's a number of excellent running backs who have gone on to Pro Bowls and had incredible careers that have played in this system.
Green's pass is nearly picked off again by Henry. Henry already has 2 today.
I mean, you can see shades. You can see shades that this offense is going to be impressive at some point. I mean, it's been successful in a number of NFL organizations, and it's just finding the right pieces to the puzzle.
Second and 10. Penalty flags. Chris Chambers, the intended receiver.
Pass interference, defense, number 35. Automatic, first down.
Let's check in with Kurt Menefee. Kurt?
All right, guys, Seattle and Arizona, less than 2 minutes left, game tied at 20. Matt Hasselbeck and Sean Alexander in some confusion. Arizona recovers. That sets up Neil Rackers for a 42-yard field goal attempt, and it's good. The Arizona Cardinals upset Seattle 23-20. Frank Caliendo's upset pick coming through. Kenny?
All right, Kurt, first win of the season for the Arizona Cardinals under new head coach Ken Wisenhunt. Green to the end zone. It is deflected and then caught for a touchdown.
Just like you draw it up, Tony.
Man, I'll tell you what, he didn't quit on that ball. He concentrated, the ball was tipped around, and he stayed with it. Beautiful catch.
Second career touchdown for Derek Hagan.
And Trent Green did a nice job extending this play as long as he could. Watch the shot he takes right here from DeMarcus Ware. An ill-advised throw, but it works out great for the Miami Dolphins. A lot of that goes to Derek Hagan. Boy, he really battled. I mean, Ken Hamlin is in good position to make the interception. Derek Hagan just wanted it a little bit more.
So it's now a 10-point game once again as Feely adds the extra point.
Well, the play's going to break down. They get pressure up the middle from Jay Ratliff, forces everybody to the outside right. Derek Hagan there, he's the back of the end zone working, trying to find an open spot. The ball goes up in the air, and look at him battle in between 4 Cowboy players to get that ball. Look at the effort. Little tip, deflection, goes back after it. I mean, he's got everybody around him. Great individual effort by Derek Hagan.
So with 3:26 remaining.
My favorite play coming up, the onside kick. This is one of those special teams you try and get off, Tony.
Well, this is who has the best hands and who's going to hold on to it.
Who has the best hands and who has the least intelligence.
Because some of these guys over here on the Dolphins are not looking to go and recover the ball. They're looking to go and pound at somebody. This is where you figure out if you're the hammer or the nail.
How much different will it be with Feely kicking on the infield dirt?
He'll be able to get a nine. He'll do, if he can do that one where they come in and they really hit the top part of the ball real hard, he's going to be able to get a ton of air underneath this, much more than he would on your normal kick. But they're in a balanced kicking formation. They haven't overloaded either side yet. And he's got it in the middle of the hashes where you would normally put it. He's not putting it to favor one side more.
Must travel at least 10 yards. Bouncing around. And the Cowboys have recovered.
Chris Chambers had a shot at it. He's a little bit frustrated right now. That was a well-executed kick.
You talk about a lot of air moves. That thing was in the air. That had to be 15, 18 feet in the air. Look at that ball.
And look at the amount of time those guys have to get down there. There's Chris Chambers. He's got a shot at it. Might as well be Anthony Henry. Everything else has been bouncing his way today.
2 interceptions for Henry. And now he recovers the onside kick. .326 on the clock, 4th quarter. Cowboys lead by 10. Marion Barber found the hole. Barber with his 2nd touchdown today. A 40-yard run into the end zone.
Well, you've got your entire defense up crowded around the line of scrimmage. Once you break that initial wave, there was nobody there for the Miami Dolphins. You're just stacking the line of scrimmage, trying to prevent anything bad from happening. Look at all the guys. Everybody's pressuring. Kick out block by Oliver Hoyt. Zach Thomas gets caught coming over the top, trips a little bit. Ronaldo Hill was the only person who had a shot at Marion Barber.
Longest run of Barber's NFL career, his 2nd touchdown of the game. So after scoring 45 points last week, the Cowboys have 37.
A different type, though. A different type of scoring. Last week it was kind of high octane. And Tony talked about it. You know, the Miami Dolphins defense last week against Washington, kind of late in that 4th quarter and into overtime, they just didn't have anything left in the tank. They were out on the field a long time in the first half, almost 20 minutes time of possession by Dallas. They're just exhausted right now. They don't have anything left, and it's getting to that point with the dynamic where the offense is functioning well so they can get some sustained drive. They give you time to recover on the sideline. They left them out there entirely too long in the first half, and it's starting to affect them now. They kind of hung in there the 3rd quarter, but they're fading away a little bit now.
Darryl, there have been 3 touchdowns scored in the last 21 seconds of action. Owens, Hagan, Barber. Kickoff taken at the 9 by King. Tackled as he crosses the 25. As we check in once again with Kurt Menefee. Kurt.
All right, Kenny, watch out for the Oakland Raiders. Jay Cutler, the Broncos quarterback, has that one tipped. Thomas Howard says thank you very much. He takes it back 44 yards. And the Raiders with a 20-17 lead over Denver with just over 4.5 minutes left. Kenny, Moose, and Goose.
Thanks, Kurt. And for more information on the Raiders and the Broncos, make sure to log on to foxsports.com or NFL.com. 3:10 remaining, 17-point lead for the Cowboys. Green on 1st and 10. Overthrows the intended receiver, Derek Hagan. Don't forget the 59th Primetime Emmy Awards and pre-show tonight on Fox, 7, 6 Central. Coming up after football. Green on 2nd and 10 is picked off for the 4th time today. It's Roy Williams. It's the 5th Miami turnover.
He was back there spying, waiting for that ball to come out, Moose, and he got one.
Yeah, I think they brought Roy Williams down to the linebacker level in certain situations to kind of take away the checkdowns for Trent Green. We've seen him around those guys all afternoon. As you point out, Tony, he's just kind of mirroring them, moving right towards the guy, just steps right in front of that for the interception.
The 4 interceptions thrown by Trent Green today matches his career high. Third time he has been picked off 4 times in one game. So Tony Romo and the Cowboys back to work from the Dolphins 30. Julius Jones. Short game. 5 Miami turnovers. Anthony Henry coming up with the first interception. And then Ken Hamlin. Bad snap. Henry again. And Roy Williams moments ago.
And don't forget the play that really kind of took a close game at one point late in the third quarter and kind of blew it open was the penalty on the punt return, where Dallas would have started 1st and 10 at their own 15. Miami's got to kick the ball again, and Patrick Creighton with a 49-yard punt return down to the 30-yard line. That kind of took the heart out of the Miami Dolphins.
Julius Jones. As we hit the 2-minute warning. All Cowboys here in South Florida. All smiles on the Cowboys sidelines. Dallas looking to start 2-0 for the first time since 1999. While it looks like the Dolphins will start 0-2 before hitting the road for 3 of their next 4 games. Tyson Thompson, Deion Anderson now in the Cowboys backfield. 3rd down and 8. The give to Thompson. And he takes it to the 25 as we check in once again with Kurt.
In Detroit, does anyone want to win this game? Under a minute left, Jason Hanson misses from 48 yards out. It's not easy, but still a miss. So Ryan Longwell gets a chance from 52 away. It's on the mark, but it hits the upright. No good. Closing seconds, still tied at 17. Back to Kenny.
Wow. Looks like the Lions and Vikings are headed to overtime. Marion Barber with a couple of touchdowns today for the Dallas Cowboys. Trent Green intercepted 4 times, 5 Dolphin turnovers in all. Cowboys had 10 at the half. They've scored 27 second half points. They scored 28 in the second half last week. In their 45-35 victory over the New York Giants. On 4th and 5, Thompson is bottled up after gaining just 1, so the Cowboys turn the ball over on downs.
Well, that's what I have liked about the Dallas offense the first 2 weeks of the season. I think everybody will talk about the points and maybe the personnel and the amount of weapons they have, the great job that Jason Garrett has done with this group in his first year as an offensive coordinator, but I love the way that they respond. Anytime something happens, last week against the Giants, they claw themselves back into the game, and Dallas just comes back and puts more points on the board. And today, the Dolphins come out, they take the ball in the third quarter, take it down, take the lead. Dallas just always has answered. The first 2 weeks, that offense has always answered whatever the opposition's offense has done.
Cowboys have a huge game next Sunday night in Chicago as Green hits Ronnie Brown out of the backfield. We haven't seen much of Brown here in the second half, and he takes it all the way out to the 48-yard line before he was chased down by Kevin Burnett.
Now, Ronnie Brown, he's got to understand the opportunity that is here for him with Cam Cameron. This offense has produced some great running backs. Now, these were very talented football players coming into the system, but it maximized what they have done in their career. I mean, the list is extremely impressive. We're going to have it for you after this play.
David Martin makes his second catch.
Now, these are guys from around the NFL who have played in this system. Emmitt Smith, Terry Allen, Stephen Davis, Marshall Faulk in St. Louis, Priest Holmes and Larry Johnson in Kansas City. Of course, LaDainian Tomlinson with Cam Cameron before. Ricky Williams here in Miami. with Norv Turner and Frank Gore last year in San Francisco with Norv Turner. So that's the group that has gotten into this system. And I think a lot of times you focus on quarterbacks and the throwing game, but the running back is a key ingredient. Ronnie Brown has to understand the opportunity that's there for him to really kind of raise his level of play to the next level.
A reminder, the 59th Primetime Emmy Awards coming up on Fox following football. Where do you think Tony's Emmy is right now?
Yeah, I hope that that wasn't a real one that they gave us to use as a promotion, because you know it's not. If Tony had it, it's somewhere else. I don't know where, but it's not where it's supposed to be.
Perhaps up for sale on eBay or on Tony's boat. Pass caught by Jesse Chapman. Great job by our entire crew today here in Miami, and we want to wish a happy birthday to one of our videotape operators, Brian Unverzat. Our producer, Barry Landis, director Michael Frank, associate directors Judy Wong and Aaron Stoikov, our broadcast associate Chirag Devaskar, technical producer Larry Barbatsoulis, David Corris crunching the numbers along with Barry Hockhauser, Rick Camps, and Matt Banovic. Green on first down, fires, and the catch is made by Chambers. Pre-game show produced by Scott Ackerson, directed by Bob Levy. The associate director is Stephanie Medina. The senior vice president of production is Jack Simmons. The senior producer of Fox Sports is Bill Brown. The executive producers are Ed Gorin and David Hill. Half minute remaining. From the Cowboys 27. Green pump fakes, now throws, and the catch is made by Chapman, but he was unable to get out of bounds. Kevin Burnett made the tackle. And the Dallas Cowboys seconds away from celebrating their first 2-0 start since 1999 as Green stops the clock. And Darryl, it's the first time the Cowboys have scored at least 35 points in back-to-back games since 1987.
That's amazing. That's amazing, because we had a pretty good run from 91 to 96, and I'm trying to, I'm thinking back. I know we opened with 31 one time. Oh, we probably didn't do anything like that back then.
Well, if you only had more skill on offense.
Yeah, if we had a few more guys, if we didn't have some Hall of Famers back then.
The game comes to an end with a sack of Trent Green by Chris Canty, who puts the exclamation point on the Cowboys' 37-20 rout of the Miami Dolphins. Terrell Owens with a touchdown. Tony Romo threw a pair. Cowboys take advantage of 5 Dolphin turnovers. We'll return to Miami in a moment. Back in South Florida, a 37-20 victory for Terrell Owens and the Dallas Cowboys over the Miami Dolphins. A look at today's UPS leaderboard. A couple of touchdowns for Marion Barber. Tony Romo threw a pair. 1-2 Terrell Owens. UPS, what can Brown do for you? Promotional considerations paid for by the following. Tonight on Fox, the 59th Primetime Emmy Awards coming up next. For Darryl Johnston and Tony Saragusa, this is Kenny Albert. So long from Miami.
Fox Sports thanks you for watching this presentation of the National Football League. The NFL is online at www.nfl.com.
You've been watching Fox Sports, broadcasting in HD.